Chapter 1. This is the immortal world. Female, 18 years old, 165 centimeters tall, a female knight of the Zhonghu, seeking an immortal cultivator husband. A 30-year-old mature female cultivator, due to her advanced age, only wishes to find a mature male cultivator to spend the rest of her life with. A young female cultivator, who enjoys being controlled by powerful immortal cultivators. Having heard that immortal cultivators are powerful, this humble woman is a traditional female and can be a concubine. Immortal cultivator big brother, I have been in business for many years and possess abundant family wealth, yearning for a house full of children. Outside the Baihua brothel in Mian City. One by one, beautifully dressed, attractive women stood on the second floor, batting their eyelashes at passing immortal cultivators, making those who had just embarked on the path of cultivation frequently turn their heads. This was an immortal cultivation world. Once one became an immortal cultivator, they would be an immortal in the mortal realm, able to ascend to the heavens in one step, and even the most ordinary immortal cultivator could live for 100 years and possess vast wealth. It could be said that becoming an immortal cultivator automatically granted one the right to choose a spouse, attracting countless mortal realm women like moths to a flame. Humph, a bunch of succubi, trying to destroy my Tao heart. Do mere mortal realm women also wish for a toad to eat swan meat? That's right, we immortal cultivators with spiritual roots are pursuing the great Tao of longevity. How can we indulge in such matters? With no women in one's heart, cultivating the Tao naturally becomes divine. Many passing male immortal cultivators gritted their teeth, suppressing the stirring in their hearts, and quickly moved away from the Baihua brothel, fearing that they might lose control and fall into the trap of these succubi. At that time, they would probably be ruined by these women. This is the immortal cultivation world. In the distance, a young man of about 18 years old looked at this scene, a strange expression on his face. For him, everything was incredibly fresh. His name was Zhou Sui, and he was a transmigration. Originally, he was doing well in his previous world, a typical otaku with a car and a house, living a comfortable life, but who would have thought that one day while hiking, he suddenly lost his footing and fell off a cliff. As a result, he transmigration to this immortal cultivation world, becoming an 18-year-old youth with the same name as himself. The most critical thing was that his previous parents were chi condensation late-stage cultivators, but they died during an exploration of a relic, leaving him all alone. Furthermore, he was only a 9th grade spiritual root cultivator, and his cultivation had only reached summer solstice realm level 1 to this day. It would probably not be so simple to stay in Mian City, the loose cultivator city. After all, this was a lawless immortal cultivation world where the strong preyed on the weak and strength was revered. Without power, even if one was killed by others, no one would be able to save them. Fortunately, his parents had previously purchased a residence in Mian City, giving him a place to stay. Otherwise, with his cultivation, he would surely be driven out of Mian City and left homeless. Therefore, even though he saw these young women as beautiful and charming, he could not enjoy them, as his family was so poor that they were almost out of rice. Thinking of this, Zhou Sui also quickened his steps, swiftly leaving the Baihua brothel and returning to his residence. Oh, virtuous nephew, you're back. What do you think about the matter I discussed with you last time? At this moment, a middle-aged man with a pointed mouth and monkey-like cheeks walked over with a smile, speaking kindly to Zhou Sui. Uncle Lu, let's just forget it. This residence was left to me by my parents. I still don't want to sell it. Zhou Sui immediately recognized the middle-aged man. His name was Lu Dong, a longtime friend of his former parents. However, after his parents died, Lu Dong's attitude changed, and he tried to persuade him to sell this house, claiming he had connections and could bribe the Immortal Sha sect steward to let him join the Immortal Sha sect and become an outer sect disciple. One must know that the Immortal Sha sect was the dominant sect in the surrounding 10,000 li area, and its sect master was even a golden core cultivators, possessing immense power. If one could truly become an Immortal Sha sect disciple, even just an outer sect disciple, it would be a step to heaven. But Zhou Sui, having lived 2 lives, how could he not see through Lu Dong's intentions? If it were truly that easy to join the Immortal Sha sect, Lu Dong would have joined long ago, and it wouldn't be his turn. The reason this old man said such things was simply because he coveted his residence. If he were to truly sell this residence, the spirit stone obtained would probably fall into this old man's hands. At that time, whether he lived or died would be uncertain. So how could he be foolish enough to fall for the other party's trick? Alas, virtuous nephew, you must think carefully. If you miss this village, you won't find this shop again. This is an opportunity that I, your uncle, found with great difficulty. Lu Dong still tried his best to persuade him. According to your spiritual root aptitude, if you cultivate alone, you will probably have no hope of foundation establishment in this life. But if you join the immortal Sha sect, there might be a glimmer of hope to touch the great Tao of longevity. No, I have no grand ambitions for the great Tao of longevity. Currently, I am the sole male descendant of the Zhou family, a single heir for 9 generations. My parents only wished for me to live peacefully and propagate the Zhou family. As for cultivation, I'll just go with the flow. Zhou Sui waved his hand. He didn't say much more to the other party and immediately returned to his residence. To be honest, he wasn't afraid of Lu Dong making a move on him. After all, Mian City was a famous loose cultivator city, established for 120 years, and backed by a powerful foundation establishment great cultivator. Many loose cultivators lived here and maintained order. If anyone dared to act within the city, they would surely be detected, and then the perpetrator would undoubtedly die. Lu Dong's expression was unpredictable, but he still dared not make a move, only watching helplessly as Zhou Sui entered the residence. Tisk, Lu Dong, it seems your nephew doesn't trust you much. Do you want me to help you make a move? At this moment, another middle-aged cultivator emerged from the shadows, his face sinister, emanating killing intent. He was clearly a robber cultivator, the kind who killed without batting an eye. Shut up, do you dare to act in Mian City? Hearing this, Lu Dong snorted coldly. The middle-aged cultivator was speechless. To be honest, he indeed didn't dare to act. After all, he didn't want to die either. His future was promising, and he might even have hope of foundation establishment in the future. If he were to truly act here, it would be a mutual destruction with a mere brat, and he wasn't that foolish. He's just a brat at Summer Solstice Realm Level 1, what does he count for? Moreover, he's only a 9th grade spiritual root. It would be good if he could even advance to Summer Solstice Realm Level 6 before 50. He can't threaten us in the short term at all. Lu Dong sneered, we don't need to be so anxious. As long as we proceed slowly, this is a residence worth thousands of spirit stone. If I can get it, I can probably advance to Qi training level 8 or even Qi refining stage 9th level in a short time. A hint of ambition appeared in his eyes. He, I didn't expect you to be so ruthless. Aren't you his parents' friend? The middle-aged cultivator laughed sinisterly. Haha, we were merely nodding acquaintances. Even if we were friends, what of it? There are people who abandon their wives and children for the great Tao of longevity, what am I? Lu Dong dismissed it with contempt. We cannot act in Mian City. Let's find an excuse to lure this kid out of Mian City. Then, we can deal with him without anyone knowing. After speaking, the two quickly left the place.